introduce something else to make a sort of announcement, which is we have a new book has been published by Ashwani Sharma. It's called Bhariya, it's written in Hindi, and it's about the pastoral herders of Bhariya is an Indian group. Yes, of the Bhariya. So it's a pastoral group in Rajasthan that he's written about. He's, for those of you who don't know Ashwani, he's, as I often tell, a very unique person. He knows more about the nomadic people of the Thar Desert than anyone I've ever met. And he's got the good fortune of combining, and he knows about them because he's lived with them for many years and speaks their language and related intimately with them in their camps. And he's very passionate about this. So, like a good anthropologist, he is able to combine his passion in life with his academic career. He's doing a doctoral thesis right now in the Department of Anthropology at the South Asia Institute on healing practices of the Kalbelia, another snake charmers of Rajasthan, which I look forward to very much. And if you want to know anything about any of the nomadic groups in Rajasthan, use your man to ask. So he's just published a book, and we're having this kind of a book launch. Is it in here? I'm sure there's some kind of Indian ceremonial thing, but I'm not exactly. Is that, am I supposed to unwrap it? Okay. It's a heavy book, and I know because I've seen the book announcements that there are lots of pictures in it too. Oh, this is a couple of Pachuchara Guantu Samudaya. So lots of photographs. Did you also take a photograph? Yes. Published in Hindi in 2025. You can get it for 300 rupees if you're in India. That's very reasonable price. Parivar Natidari Gotra Dera Vyavastha. Chapters like this, there are 6 or 8 chapters. Jivan Sanskriti Evam Sanskar. Katha Kisse Niyam Evam Manyataye. So it looks really interesting. And there's somebody with a camera.
Today's topic is Healing on the Hills, Bhaiya's tribal culture and their healing practices. So our guest speaker, Dr. Teekmani Patwari, and Associate Professor at Government's Postgraduate College, Chhindwara, Madhya Pradesh, has over 15 years of teaching experience and a strong focus on cultural research. She has extensively studied the Bhariya tribes, written a monograph on their culture. Her work also includes monographs on folk deities and temple surveys. Enriching regional cultural studies, a regular voice on Ashwani Sharma. She is an award-winning writer recognized for her literary and research contributions. So we welcome.
और इस हैडलबर्ग की पावन धरती को मेरा सादर प्रणाम. It is a pleasure to be here with you today to discuss the Bhariya community of Patalkot Valley and their healing practices. First, I am thankful to Professor Vinod and all the dignitaries of South Asian Institute of Heidelberg University to give me such a wonderful opportunity.
So, in our today's talk, I'm just going to do a basic introduction about the theme and the lecture. So, across India, there are many tribal groups, each with you.
I'd like to introduce something else to make a sort of announcement, which is we have a new book has been published by Ashwani Sharma. It's called Bhariya. It's written in Hindi, and it's about the pastoral herders of Bhaiya is an Indian group. Yes, of the Bhaiya. So it's a pastoral group in Rajasthan that he's written about. He's, for those of you who don't know Ashwani, he's, as I often tell, a very unique person. He knows more about the nomadic people of the Thar Desert than anyone I've ever met. And he's got the good fortune of combining, and he knows about them because he's lived with them for many years and speaks their language and related intimately with them in their camps. And he's very passionate about this. So, like a good anthropologist, he is able to combine his passion in life with his academic career. He's doing a doctoral thesis right now in the Department of Anthropology at the South Asia Institute on healing practices of the Bhaiya, another snake charmers of Rajasthan, which I look forward to very much. And if you want to know anything about any of the nomadic groups in Rajasthan, he is your man to ask. So he's just published a book, and we're having this kind of a book launch. Is it in here? I'm sure there's some kind of Indian ceremonial thing, but I'm not exactly. Is that, am I supposed to unwrap it? Okay. It's a heavy book, and I know because I've seen the book announcements that there are lots of pictures in it too. Oh, this is a couple of Pasuchara Guantu Samudaya. So lots of photographs. Did you also take the photographs?
Yes.
Published in Hindi in 2025. You can get it for 300 rupees if you're in India. That's a very reasonable price. Parivar Natidari Gotro, Dera Vyavastha. Chapters like this, there are 6 or 8 chapters. Jivan Sanskriti Evam Sanskar, Katha Kisse, Niyam Evam Manyataye. So it looks really interesting. And there's somebody with a camera.
Today's topic is Healing on the Hills, Bhariya's tribal culture and their unique practices. So our guest speaker, Dr. Teekmani Patwari, an associate professor at Government's Postgraduate College, Chhindwara, Madhya Pradesh, has over 15 years of teaching experience and a strong focus on cultural research. She has extensively studied the Bhariya tribes, written a monograph on their culture. Her work also includes monographs on folk deities and temple surveys. Enriching regional cultural studies, a regular voice on Ashwani Sharma. She is an award-winning writer recognized for her literary and research contributions. So we welcome.
Heidelberg की पावन धरती को मेरा सादर प्रणाम. It is a pleasure to be here with you today to discuss the Bhariya community of Patalkot Valley and their healing practices. First, I am thankful to Dr. Phil and all the dignitaries of South Asian Institute of Heidelberg University to give me such a wonderful opportunity.
So, in our today's talk, I'm just going to do a basic introduction about the theme and the lecture. So, across India, there are many tribal groups, each with use in deserts, forests, and along coastlines. One such community is the Bhariya of Patalkot region in central part of India. The Bhariya tribal community or indigenous community is recognized as a particularly vulnerable tribal group by Government of India. This means they are among the most marginalized and vulnerable tribal communities in the country. PVTs usually have small population, remoteness, and depends on forest for their daily needs like food, shelter, and medicine. If a tribe granted PVT status, it means the tribe has special rights to protect its land and culture. So, In the next slide, you can see in the right side is an Indian map, and it's India, and the central colored part, that's the yellow part. That's the state of Madhya Pradesh. And the left side, you can see the state of Madhya Pradesh, and there's a color yellow part, it's a Chhindwara district. And this green area is Patalkot. So today we are talking about this region, Patalkot Valley. So Patalkot is a deep valley located in the district Chhindwara, and we also have a small video. Part of Satpura mountain range. Satpura. And the valley is approximately 2,000 to 3,000 feet deep and covers area around 79 square kilometers. And this is a home, just only two tribal communities here. One is Bhariya and another is Bond. And the total population of Bhaiya area is just 3,000 according to government report of 2017 and 18. Due to geographical barriers and prevailing prejudices, outsiders have had very limited contact with these tribes. Patalkot is a land of magic and mystery, filled with spirits. Every tree tells a story. Every stone possesses magical properties. Some years ago, an old Bunka told me, everything in the valley, stone, animal, mountain, river, has meaning, a connection with one another. You must respect that balance if you wish to stay here. That's part. Yeah, so the central theme of our today's talk is to explore how Bhaiya's healing practices are not merely medical or religious practices, but rather powerful act of spiritual, ecological, and communal engagement. And these practices represent a worldview where healing means restoring balance between people, their ancestors, the spirit world, and the forest. And the key questions for today's talk is, how do the Bhaiya conceptualize illness and healing? What roles do nature, spirits, and ancestors play in healing? And finally, what can we learn from Bhaiya's healing practices for broader medical anthropology? To better understand these healing practices and our theoretical framework, we need to share a short ethnographic experiences.
To go on today's discussion, let me share an ethnographic encounter that reveals the texture of Madhya healing. In the dense heart of Patalkot Valley, where cliffs cast shadows like wings and winds carry the songs of old spirits, lived a Bhariya family in the hamlet of Rated. Rated is a village in the valley. There are 12 villages and 13 hamlets in the valley. It was late autumn. The mahua trees had begun to shed their last leaves, and the forest smelled of damp earth, smoke, and quiet tears. Meena, a young mother, had just given birth to her second child. The birth had been long but safe, attended by her mother-in-law, Girija. And a elder who used a poultice of neem and turmeric to soothe the pain and secret mantras to bless the newborn's death. The baby girl was healthy. But some days later, something changed. The child is now nursing. She trembled in sleep. Her skin went cold. And she cried not like a baby, but in a high tremulous way, like a bird lost in fall. Meena's husband Raju grew worried, but his mother said nothing at first. She watched the sign closely, checking the child's navel for heat, placing an iron nail near her pillow to test for spiritual disturbance, and whispering old chants over mustard seeds. After a day, the great mother said, "This is not a sickness of the body alone. The forest spirits have been disturbed." Then they decided to call the Bhunka, the village healer. Phul Singh Bhunka, a man in his late 60s, with hair like twisted vines and a voice that moved between thunder and lullaby. He had been chosen as a child, after months of fever and vision of a woman in white who sang under the banyan tree. His training had come from his uncle, a respected Bhunka. Phul Singh arrived at sunset, carrying a bundle of herbs and a string of beads and a small copper pot. He sat by the baby and held her feet gently, closing his eyes, and began to chant, softly at first, then louder. His body swelled with the rhythm. Meena said later that it felt as if the air has thickened, as if the trees outside were leaning in to listen. Suddenly the Bhunka stopped. He turned to Meena and said, "She has been seen by the Nazar." And I replied, "Yes." Someone passed with anger in their eyes, or maybe unknowingly, but more than that, the land is restless. You walked through the old clearing last week, didn't you? Meena nodded. She had gone there to gather firewood after childbirth. Unaware that the spirit sit near labor. An ancient cave for its guardian soul. It is not your fault, Phul Singh said. But we must heal both the child and the place. That evening the ritual begins. Meena's mother-in-law prepared herbal water with neem, basils and lemongrass. The baby was gently bathed, while Phul Singh chanted over a fire, throwing red chilies and mustard seeds. As they burned, loud cracks echoed, confirming the agonized places. He tied a thread of 7 knots around the baby's wrist, whispering a protective mantra into each knot. He placed a piece of iron under her bed and gave Meena a small pouch with dried Bhariya and Ashwani, telling her to mix it with honey and give it to the baby each morning. But the healing wasn't just about herbs and chants. That night, Phul Singh and the family walked to the clearing where the spirit resided. They offered rice, milk, and a cow, chanting mantras for forgiveness and peace. Phul Singh touched the earth and said, "We give back what we took." A week later, the baby nursed again. Her cries softened. Her eyes stopped darting as in fear. The grandmother smiled, saying, "The forest has taken her back into its arm." Meena resumed her daily routines, but now she avoided the old clearing. Her respect for the invisible world had deepened. Based on this scientific experience, we have some reflections. In Bhariya life, illness is not just a biomedical event. It is a rupture in balance between humans, spirit, and the forest. The Bhunka does just treat a person. He listened to the wind, observed the land, and restored cosmic harmony. The diagnosis isn't made in a clinic, but through dreams, science, and the behavior of plants and fire. And healing is a ritual act that involves touching the body, chanting over herbs, feeding spirits, and honoring the earth. Women, like Nina's mother-in-law, are the first line of care, passing down herbal recipes, sensing danger, and preparing the body for the winter's birth. Healing is not separate from the life. It is a part of childbirth, caregiving, farming, and everyday rhythm.
Yeah, so how can we understand this healing practices anthropologically? And so I'm using multiple theories. The ethnographic story we just heard is not just a tale of illness and recovery. It reflects an entire system of thought in which health, ecology, and spirits are deeply intertwined. To better understand this healing practices, first I'm going to use Professor Arthur Clyde's concept of explanatory model. And according to Professor Clyde, the central theme is how different cultures understand the nature, cause, and treatment of illness. For Bhariya, illness is not a biological problem, but it's a rupture in spiritual, ecological, and communal harmony. So this model helps to deal more with illness, like imbalance, misfortune, rather than just disease. And the Bhumka's healing practices through diagnosed through trance, dreams, reflects the cultural rooted logic that sees imbalance, that sees that illness as a message, often from spirits, disturbed spirits, ancestors, or forests. In addition to this, I am also using Professor Sachs' theory of medical pluralism, the coexistence and the layering of multiple therapeutic practices. So, Bhumka's healing is one layer, and the healing is not confined only the ritual space, that Bhumka's ritual space. It occurs in the home, through the hands of mothers and grandmothers, in the forest, during the collection of herbs, and daily acts like the storytelling or feeding. Women's knowledge of plants and seasonal cycles, their role in food preparation, and their embodied practices of caregiving are all part of broader